The World Health Organization is asking China for more information on reports of a cluster of pneumonia in children and a general rise in respiratory diseases. The Chinese authorities recently said such illnesses were at their highest level in 3 years. Andrew Wood has more from Hong Kong.
Well, the health authorities in China noted about 10 days ago that there was an increase. There were much higher level of respiratory diseases and illnesses in China than a year ago, the highest for 3 years. In a way, that's not unexpected because, remember, a year ago, China was in the middle of some very, very strict measures to try to stop the spread of COVID. And if you stop the spread of COVID, you also stop the spread of other diseases like flu and so on. Nevertheless, there have been other reports from an organisation known as ProMed of what they consider could be undiagnosed pneumonia, especially amongst children. Now, it's unclear that the WHO's request, whether this is about the general rise in respiratory illnesses or whether it's more specifically about this apparent spike or cluster amongst children. We still don't know. This is one of the reasons, after all, why the WHO is asking for information. Now, the authorities in Beijing have said that this is just a routine request of information from the WHO. But do remember, think back to 3 years ago when we were having the, just before COVID-19 emerged, was that cluster of cases emerged in China. And there were a lot of complaints and criticisms of the WHO and China as well for not being very transparent in the way that information was collected and disseminated, or for that matter was not disseminated. And so there's been a lot of scrutiny of both China and the WHO since then. And remember, this is quite controversial. Remember, a couple of years ago, Australia called for an independent investigation into the origins of COVID, an independent international investigation. And China didn't like that at all, and it put sanctions and tariffs on many Australian products as a result. In Hong Kong, I'm Andrew Wood, reporting for DD India.